Is performing for the algorithm the only way to succeed online? I've been asking myself this question a lot today as someone that's been growing her brand for almost 10 years now on Instagram, YouTube, and my podcast. I've been through so many seasons of understanding the algorithm, playing with it, not thinking about it. And throughout, there was a sense of it's okay to perform because all of it is a performance. And as someone that grew up playing theater and wanting to become a singer, I always saw performance not as something bad, not in the, oh, this is performative, but more from a place of, no, this is what artists do. They perform, they entertain, they show up, they put on a facade or a mask or a persona so that they can make people feel good and feel something. And my relationship to performing has now shifted so much in the last few years. And today I want to talk to you about what I've discovered as a business and brand growth advisor that guides women entrepreneurs to be seen and be visible and grow their revenue and business the feminine way. But also as someone that has gone through our own seasons of desires to be in the public eye, perform, and now living more hermit on a mountain, on an island, having changed my relationship to performance and happiness and success altogether. And what I think we need to do this year on social media to actually grow without performing. So if you're interested in this conversation, if you've been feeling tired about pushing and trying to fight against the algorithm, the internet, the noise online, and you're just asking yourself, is there another way? Yes, I really think there is. And I think this video will give you hope and make you exhale and feel really good. So let's settle in. I have my coffee and I don't know how long this will take. So let's take a minute together. Okay, so when it comes to performance, as I said, I initially thought it was a good thing. But with social media, a lot of the performance that was asked of me actually made me disappear. I remember very clearly this early season on Instagram where people would ask you to play this game of commenting on their posts, right? And just being visible and being seen. And more recently, we've had the wave of high-paced, fast-paced edits, cutting through your voice in so many tiny segments to retain people's attention because our attention is no longer there, they say. And so we need to be hooked, like, like a rabbit to a carrot, just hooked to the next scene, hooked to the next thing. And for that, we need to cut ourselves in tiny, tiny microseconds and pieces and spend hours and hours editing. And it just didn't sit right with me. And then there's the season of hooks, and you need to have a good hook. You need to have a visual hook. You need to make the first 3 seconds important, otherwise people scroll right by. And then more recently, the yapping. I'm sure some of you have signed up to this Yap Challenge. For me, talking on camera has been something I've done for many, many years now. So it didn't pull me in, but I've seen how many women found the permission to maybe start talking, to start showing up just with their phone. But also still quite a lot of strategies and techniques and templates. And as someone that's growing her business the feminine way, all of it to me has just been exhausting in many, many ways. And that's why I've had moments of giving it a try out of curiosity, right? Out of experimentation. Because if I want to be really, really good to advise my clients on their brand growth and their business growth, I need to stay on top of what's happening in the landscape, what they're struggling with, what they're navigating, what they're trying or feeling exhausted by, to find a different way. And I do believe now, 10 years in, that everything works, but it's not going to work for everyone. And the biggest mistake we can make is to follow a template or follow a way or follow a path that is not aligned with the type of person that we are. And that's why the only way to lead a business and a brand in a way that actually feels good and does not dysregulate our nervous system is to do the self-discovery work, to get to know ourselves, to get to know what feels good, to listen to our intuition, and also to recognize the signal our body is sending when something is not right for us. And yeah, of course, the conversations around feminine energy being this soft and the flow and let it come to you, and then masculine energy being this like active, driven force are always so black or white. When what we really need is a little bit of everything, a little bit of both, and getting to know the recipe that really works for us. So, where I am now with my content after years of having seasons of disappearing and reappearing is that I now realize truly my strength is just talking. And what I love is talking. What I love is sharing my insights openly, which is something that I have the chance to be able to do 24/7 with my co-founder and fiance, which is such a blessing to have someone to kind of mastermind with and share thoughts on business and life and AI and leadership and whatever is coming up, but also talking to you, sharing with you the insights of my own journey of being a creative that started her business because she wanted to become a singer and a yoga teacher to eventually finding my way into confidence, personal branding, and now 360 business growth and advisory for multi-passionate women that are more than one thing. And that journey of discovering my voice and taking up space was also a journey of realizing that some of those things just don't work for me. I will not edit. I will not sit through hours of cutting myself in micro pieces. I don't want to cut anything out. In fact, I used to run a podcast because I had heard, 6, 7 years ago how good it was to have a podcast to interview guests. And I wanted to cut away all the hums and the like. And so I would spend hours in post production just cutting off stuff, making the conversation tighter. And not only did I not enjoy being a host because it's not what I love to do, asking questions without being the advisor that can give perspective and wisdom and direction, just asking questions, interviewing people, hosting is not something that lights me up. And then editing and post production to cut something away. Wow, this was so draining. And I ran it for a couple episodes. And then I realized this is not bringing me joy. I pivoted to a meditation podcast, which grew to 100,000 downloads by itself without me doing anything, but just being consistent because it was easy for me. And that's what I mean when I'm saying when we're performing and when we're trying to put on a voice or a face or a mask or, editing ourselves to fit. Are we doing anything different than when we're, altering our body or altering our face or altering ourselves to fit in standards? The online landscape just has new standards and we're all unconsciously adhering to them without questioning them and without realizing that we have the authorship and the leadership and the sovereignty to actually do things differently. And if I'm honest with myself, the world that I'm building for my clients is not a world where I want them to be glued on their computer all day, forcing themselves to be understood, cutting themselves smaller than their magic, trying to have only one offer, only one avatar, only, all of those rules, reaching out 150 times a day. Like, this is not what I want for them. It's not what I want for me. And so it is my duty to find a different way and to start putting my energy where I want to see the world go. And I don't want to see people exhausted. I don't want to be part of a new online matrix where everybody is working 16 hours a day to try to cut through the noise because what? Scarcity? We don't have enough opportunity. These are the same beliefs that created a system that exhausted everyone that are now happening online, where everyone is now productive and having AI to create more, be more present. Why for? Like, what is the reason? I don't want that for the world. So I'm just not going to participate. And so I'm not going to be cutting. I'm not going to be editing. I'm not going to be figuring out hooks. I'm just not, because I don't want that for you. So I'm not going to do it. Because if I do it, I say, you know what? I agree with this. I agree. We should use templates and use hooks and use AI and automatize and post more without doing it ourselves because churning content? I don't agree. So I'm not going to do it. And so here are some things I refuse to do. I refuse to do things that are not lighting me up and that go against my nature. So most strategies online are not working for me. And now that I lead this business, I realized that a lot of this is rooted in scarcity, in the fear that there's not enough for everyone. We have to fight to get on top of this mountain. And that's just not true. The way the world online goes is that we all get a chance to build a whole new world, a whole new universe where people get to resonate and find their way to us. And listen, I haven't yet reached visibility to the level that I know is possible for me. But I have built an incredible, tight-knit community of incredible women and clients that I would have brunch with and that I love to talk to. And they feel so grateful they have me in the corner of their business growth because we have so many things in common. They also live in their dream home by the beach or remotely. They're also not wanting to participate in the, exhaustion, hustle culture. They're creating something from their heart and they have a beautiful perspective and they have so many talents. We have so much in common. And even though I haven't reached peak visibility to whatever standard we're looking at it, I have reached peak fulfillment. I live on an island in a mountain. I have incredible clients that I adore and that I love. I now understand marketing not as something that I have to do and it's so exhausting, but as something that I get to do as I find the ways in which it doesn't create friction for me to exist online, for me to lead this universe, lead this world, invite people to participate. And I do genuinely believe, and I stand behind this because I've seen it, so many of my clients have more followers than me. So many of them have more influence than me. And yet, having influence, having a platform, having a community will not spare you from the wheel of comparison and performance and trying to keep up unless you build authority within and understand what kind of life you really want to live, what kind of people you really want to be surrounded by, and what kind of ways you really want to find and own your voice online. And for my writers, that means fully liberating your art without judging it. For my artists, that means maybe singing your song without altering them. And for my creators, that means finding a way to create that doesn't become a performance where you have to show up, otherwise you fall behind. And if I look at the way social media has restricted me, I think so many of those unconscious rules of, post once a week. For some, it feels overwhelming. For me, it was restricting because my natural, creative portal is so full that if I don't give myself permission to record more, I'm actually putting myself in a small, tiny box where I am limited to my expression. And if I'm trying to cut my thoughts short because I'm so not good at making short form content because I just make long sentences and my points sometimes take 5 minutes to get to the point. And that's fine. I don't, school told me that wasn't okay, but this is not school. This is not school. I used to write essays, build fantasy world or, write to my teachers and they would always say, get to the point. You cannot make 3-line sentences. And I would say, why not? But I had to, adhere to whatever agenda they had in plan for my learnings. But now this is all made up. Like this whole platform, Your Secret Co-Founder, is mine. It's made up. And in this world, I get to say 5-minute points if I want to. And I don't have to get to the point. In fact, I know so many people love to listen to me not getting to the point. And I think the freedom that I'm now gaining when I say I don't want to perform for the algorithm anymore is I want to see what it really looks like when I don't follow any rules, whether I unconsciously adhere to them or whether I willingly tried it out. So I'm not going to look at how often I'm posting anymore. I'm not going to look at when I'm posting. I might post 3 times a day, 5 times a day, 7 times a day. I may post not for 3 days. I don't know. I'll see. But what I will not do anymore is try to calculate my way to success because first, I already feel really successful. I have everything I ever wanted and more. I have time to create music and to write songs, which is the reason I started my business in the first place. I live on an island by the sea with the love of my life, and I just want to help more women find their voice and find their way and get peace of mind as they stop making business so difficult for them. This is a new landscape, and we get to shape it the way we want to. And I want to shape a landscape of women that are trusting their intuition, that are liberating their voice so they don't have to alter it, overthink draft, or take 7 hours before they post something, or ask themselves if they're posting too often, too much, if they're annoying people. I want to have a community of women that are just doing what they want when they want, because they have reached a moment and a point in their life where they know they are deeply worthy, deeply valuable. They have something deeply powerful to say and share. And they don't have to perform and edit themselves out to try to appease or fit any sort of criterias. Why would we do this? Why would we now have a free world online where we get to create what we want, attract who we want, be in whichever way we want, and all agree to this belief that we have to play the game to win the game? I like to think of it differently. I think we have to remove our friction. We have to remove our limiting belief. We have to remove every single block that is stopping us from fully expressing ourselves the way we are meant to express ourselves. And for me, that means being able to speak however long I want on a YouTube video and just post it, showing up on stories whenever I feel like it, because I have a lot to say. So I will be posting mostly every day, but without calculating it, just letting it be free. And it took me years to have the courage and the confidence to do this. When I had my blog 10 years ago, I was so scared to post. I was scared of judgment. Like, all of those layers are the ones we remove. But once we've removed those layers of blocks or fears or performance or comparison, perfectionism, overthinking, then you can really ask yourself, how am I meant to share? Because you will want to share. Once you reach your dream life, of course you want to share. Once you have everything you want, of course you want to share. When you're on your way to the life that you truly desire, of course you'll want to bring people along. And so I don't think sharing should be forced. I don't think it should be calculated. I don't think it should be a performance. I think it should just be a liberation of our truth, our unique essence, our unique way of expressing ourselves. And also just a reminder that every time we say yes to something, we agree to it becoming the norm. Even photographers I work with, sometimes they say, yeah, but people don't charge this around here. So if I charge this, I go against them. And I'm saying, well, no, if you charge this, you set a new standard that gives people permission to maybe go there. Every time we do things differently, we give people permission to also observe what they truly want, observe where they've said yes when it felt like a no. And my clients are not hiring me because I'm cutting myself in 15-second clips. They hire me because of my deep ability to go where they haven't gone before and change their perspective and build strategies that are tailored to their unique energy so that they can grow their business without dysregulating themselves or burning out. And I know they always find a way to me. I can trust that. If there's one thing I can trust, is that every single time I've put myself out in the world, I've had people come and find their way to me. And the funny thing is, so many times they don't even know what I'm saying. I've had it often if I was running ads or, putting out a reel, people would follow and comment, and in the DMs they would say, I don't actually know what you said in your video, but your energy just pulled me in. And that's why I do genuinely believe that this liberating our voice in the feminine way is not about editing. It's about allowing. It's about allowing ourselves and our nature to come through so that our frequency is clear and it's truly the way people would feel us. And then they can find their way to us. And it doesn't matter what, content bucket and strategy you use. Like, all of these should be means of making your creative process easier. But when they become boxes that feel suffocating, you're not truly tapped into what would be easiest for you, and therefore allow you to speak more of you and for more people to find you. So I don't think it's a surprise that my following count has been pretty stagnant. I have been experimenting but I have not committed and given myself space and permission to truly honor my own creative force and my own flow to the level that I have it. I have been contortionate, creating contortions and constriction and contraction in so many ways. And not all of it was an awareness. I think some of it was still an unawareness. And that's why now I'm saying 10 years in, wow, I didn't realize how many ways I limited myself and my expression. And now that I'm aware, I'm just removing all of it. And I'm ready to see what's going to happen. So come along. If you're also wanting to support a way for content and visibility and business growth to actually feel good, to actually be a journey of self-expression and voice liberation. And let's stop editing ourselves in such small pieces. It's just not the vibe for me. Love to hear your thoughts. And thank you for being here. My DMs are open. If you have questions, if you want to see what it looks like working with me, what I could bring as ease and peace in your business. And yeah, just add to the conversation in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'll see you next time.